Welcome to Talking Twash with Mike and Nikki.
What up, gobbies? This is Mike and Nikki and Chirpa and Scuba and Kelby.
We're surrounded by creatures right now.
Coming at you to give you a very special episode of Behind the Dumpster. A look at Mike's Wolfbrother Druid costume, or that's what we're calling it anyway. Yeah, it's called that throughout the website. So.
It's been through many iterations, is the thing.
So when we started talking about doing the podcast and doing all this stuff, we had come to the conclusion that we are more storytellers than we are podcasters, or rather, more storytellers than we are cosplayers.
Yeah.
is what I meant to say. Yeah.
Also, more than we are.
Yeah.
Both are true.
Clearly.
Criminy.
Oh. So, and like part of that is, being able to make a costume, make a thing, and being like, cool, this is where this thing is at this moment in time. But sort of each costume that we've ever made has its own life way and evolution and etc. And then, part of it is like realizing that as we're making these things, there's not just some static idea of what we think that it looks like. We don't take like even a iconic character, right? Like a Red Sonja or something like that, and say like, yeah, we're going to do it just like this. It's going to look exactly like the thing. No, like
never happens.
No,
that way. Never happens that way by design.
No, yeah, we always interpret it, to be the way we want it, or and for me especially, it's like what I want to see. Like I make the content I want to see.
Right. We got to talk about the April outfit at some point.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be its own episode, I think. But so, we thought we would start at the very beginning. And, Mike started doing this long before I did.
Yeah, you say beginning, like the first time I did this outfit was I was 13.
Yeah.
It's the very first cosplay I ever did, not counting Halloween. So this outfit, so it's this druidy looking costume that I've been doing since I was 13 years old. I have, there are people at the Renaissance Fair, at the Bristol Ren Fair, who actually look for me to see what it looks like this year. So every once in a while I have someone walk up and be like, oh, you have different face paint this year. So it's kind of cool to have such a long lineage now that I'm 4,000 years old, having, people remember this all the way back. It's kind of cool. But it just started as an excuse to just be silly with my friends. The very first time that I dressed up as it, we were driving my mom's garbage Taurus wagon, and we walk up and we're like, you know what, everybody else dresses up. We got to dress up too. So we just fished in the trunk and just found whatever we could. And there was cargo netting back there and just some random cloth. So we just draped it around each other and we're like, oh, we're in costume now. Ha ha. Doing it in the way that jerk ass teenagers do. And then realized very quickly that we weren't doing it ironically like we thought we were. And we were really having a blast just dressing up. So from then on, we started raiding thrift stores. That was the first time I ever started raiding thrift stores, specifically for this outfit. And so, we went as basically our D&D characters, or versions of our D&D world. So all my high school friends went, my buddy Joe. We made these wooden weapons in my workshop. It was just plywood that I had buzzed down with a sander and painted up with goofy metal paint. Joe was some kind of desert ninja. Oh, yeah, he went as an Aiel from the Wheel of Time books because he was obsessed with those. And so everybody had some basic, goofy D&D stereotype, and mine was the druid character. And it was a brown bathrobe with there were these yellow, not quite jeans, these weird yellow fabric pants that I cut off and made them look like capris. for some reason. And I drew Sharpie moons and stars on them. So it was like very Lucky Charms on my pants. And the fabric that I cut off of that, I cut little symbols and just hot glued it to the robe. And then I had some goofy shirt. It was like a women's blouse that I cut the arms off of.
Sounds familiar.
That I wore forever. It just disintegrated like 2 years ago. I had like I braided a feather in my hair, drew some stuff on my face, and that was the beginnings of it. But
is there a picture of that in the gallery?
Oh god, in the gallery I'm not sure, but I will absolutely put one up there. It's hilarious. I look so goofy. I had these stupid I guess they were like house slippers, but they were faux leather. But I had like regular socks on as well too, so I just had stupid socks and these little house slippers. But man, I was so convinced that I looked awesome. But the one thing that did stay through all the iterations of this, all the years that I've been doing, is that staff that I made. Mm-hmm. So I have this carved down wooden staff. It's not ornate or anything. It's just like chopped down really nicely. And then I made this sort of sickle shape out of plywood. I bolted it to it, and then I started putting fabric and leaves and whatever on it to look more druidy. And that has become the icon from that outfit that people recognize. If they see the sickle walking around, they're like, "Oh, the druid guy is here."
So I didn't even realize how adept that picture is that I used for all of our events. Stuff that I took last year.
Oh yeah.
That Photoshop. It wasn't a real photo shoot. I just happened to do a really good job, and the setting was really good. Mm-hmm. So it was perfect.
But yeah, that stick with the sickle on it has been like my icon over the years. It's in fact, I based it off of my tattoo symbol. This was a symbol that my dad and I, years before he passed away, we sort of created this little symbol for like our fun little philosophy and spiritual and whatever we wanted to call it type of discussions, and ended up being the tattoo on my arm. But it started as this sketch that we did, and then it became the staff, and now it's on me. So it's like this omnipresent symbol in my life, which I don't even think you knew that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Most people don't know about that. This is kind of the first time I'm really telling people how that all connects. So yeah, that particular staff icon is very important to me. And then over time it just went through a bunch of changes, and I added face paint and either lost or just remade pieces of the costume over time. And it's definitely my most iconic piece, even though it's not technically like a character that people know.
Yeah. In your mind, what, like, do you have a backstory for this character?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, in high school, we started playing Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition, and we're playing with our buddy Ian. And I had a character, like, man, it was just increasingly more ridiculous. Like, we knew how to play D&D, basically, but it was just, like, the three of us, so we could just get away with whatever we wanted. We're just friends telling stories, which is what D&D is supposed to be. But I ended up being, like, a werewolf with a talking sword that has all these elemental powers on it, or whatever. So over-the-top, goofy high school stuff. But I remember taking the ideas from that D&D character and applying them to how I thought he might look in real life. So, I wasn't going to go full werewolf. I wasn't going to do like a furry outfit and then this. I was like, let's start with the bathrobe and work from there. So over time, it evolved from my character in the Dungeons and Dragons game to a character that I started writing for little fantasy stories that I've been writing. Iskor, I think, was his name. And he doesn't have like a super deep backstory, because he ended up... I figured that since he was a character that I was actually cosplaying in real life and I had played in a previous game, I thought it'd be like too self-referential for my stories. Yeah. So you would just kind of pop in once in a while, Jay and Silent Bob style, Kevin Smith's always got to be in his stories, and I jump in there every once in a while. So he never really got a deep storyline. But he was like the connective tissue if we needed to, make something connect in the game. This guy would show up. And so wearing him as a costume ended up being giving me more storyline for him. And he ended up being the, you've seen me do this. The first time we went to fair together is when I would just like go to a random stump and make a little sculpture with some flowers. Mm-hmm. So like he was just his whole thing was he was the, we call him the Wolf Brother. So he was like the nature kid that ended up being part of the big city. So whenever he goes back out to nature, he tries to bring some nature back to the city. And he would be, though the whole idea was that he would be regrowing the forests or, pulling the wild into the urban areas. That was the whole idea behind him. And, because of that, anytime I wear this outfit, I'll do some goofy little, quote unquote magic thing, especially if there's little kids around and I get them involved in it. So like I'll make a little sculpture of like dirt and grass and put a flower in it and just leave them around for people to find. But if I see, so I'm very tall in real life and many children mistake me for a set design as opposed to an actual human, right? Like I've been leaned up against so many times. And when they realize I'm a people, they start to freak out a little bit. Because, my current iteration of this outfit, I have a lot of heavy face paint and it could look really freaky to a little kid. So I try to be as gentle as possible and engage in something with the little kid. Like let's make shadow art or something. So I'll take the bottom of the staff that I have and draw in the gravel, like really deep gouges. And, point out where the shadows fall. And I'm like, here, help me put some sticks here and we'll make shadow art. So it's one of the most important outfits for me because it connects me to people so much, especially younger people. I'm trying to be, with that outfit, I'm trying to be the person that I always wanted to see at the Ren Fair as a kid. I wanted to engage with the weird, nature-y people, all the fairies and the druids and stuff wandering around. I thought that was the coolest thing. So really it just evolved into that, is to that was my first real impetus to start trying to build a community of other, not even necessarily nerds, just other people that saw magic out there, in a regular plain ass world that just wanted to see something important out there every once in a while. So let's make some magic on the ground. There, bam, it's real now.
So, how many times do you think you've actually worn that costume, or a version of the costume?
Yeah, well, I consider it all the same outfit because it's just been upgraded over time. Right. It's never been overhauled. A lot, definitely the one I've worn the most. I only ever wear it at Ren Fair. I think once I wore it to some convention. But, man, I've been going to Ren Fair multiple times since I was a child. I made that outfit when I was 14. I'm 400 now. And so... So
at least 400 times.
Yeah, but multiple times a year, so 600 times. Honestly, yeah, I had worn it almost every single year that I've gone to Ren Fair. And if I didn't wear it when I went to fair during the course of a year, it just kind of felt wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's way more a part of my life than I would have ever thought it would become when it was initially just a bathrobe.
It's kind of how I feel about Sonia.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's like that, it's not my own invention, although it's kind of become my own invention.
I was going to say, yeah. We were saying, we don't ever do anything that's the cut and dry version of what it's supposed to be.
I literally wore that thing until it was all safety pins.
Yeah.
And
it was rotting off of your body.
Stabbed in the tits by wire. I'd come out bleeding every time, and every time this has got to be the last time.
Yep.
And find some way to just piece it back together enough. And then C2E2 2021 finally did it in. I need to get a frame for that thing.
Yeah, we're going to shadow box that for sure. There's also a difference between your costume style and mine, whereas your costumes are more cohesive wholes, I think, and mine are a lot more just accessories that I throw on, which is partly because of this druid outfit. Any of my artwork that you see, I'm not a clean artist. I always I call it battle damage, the imperfections are my jam, so I always make stuff look a little more, savage naturey. So I like it when stuff is a little more raggedy. And part of that is just tying cool little trinkets, and the idea of having, little charms and stuff that I can bust out, I think is really cool. Getting myself in that headspace.
I don't think we're necessarily different on that account. With there's some costumes that I have that, like Squirrel Girl, it's just Squirrel Girl. Like,
right.
She's not battle damage, she's just Squirrel Girl. But there's just sort of an image I have in my head of how that character is going to be.
Yeah.
But something like Sonia or April or whatever that would have battle damage does, I think that we also, like, our house is testament to the fact that we just have two different aesthetics.
Yeah.
And you like that sort of, like in Howl's Moving Castle, when she goes into his room. That's your aesthetic.
Yeah. It was recently described as cluttercore. Which I think is
so good.
It's perfect, right?
It's so good, yeah.
I think our styles synergize really well.
Yeah.
But we definitely have our own wavelengths on what makes us comfortable.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, outfits that I wear, I am much more likely to find a thing on the ground and tie it to me, whereas you have more of a plan for your outfit than I would. You know what I'm saying?
That's just a mental disorder.
No, and it's the same for me. It's like I am a goblin. Clack, clack, shiny math rocks, dude. That's the whole reason I collect dice, is because I just want to hear them click, click, click.
That's my bag of jewels. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I get really mad. Like, I'm going to have to get multiple bags now because like they don't match and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I want all of these colored ones to be this anyway.
I know.
But this is where we diverge.
I know. You give me a pile of, like, chicken bones from Popeyes, and I'm like, I'm going to bleach these up, and they're going to be part of my charms now.
Oh, my God. Okay. So, all right. So, at least 400 to 600. We're not sure how many times you've worn it.
Give or take.
First time was was when you were 14. We won't say what year that was. And...
it was like 97.
That sounds right.
I was in high school.
Yeah.
I graduated in 2000.
Yeah. And you will be wearing it this Saturday.
Yeah. Hopefully I will have the energy to add to change it around a little bit. There's some things I wanted to do with it because the pants are super goofy. And they always have been. They were just kind of tradition to be ridiculous.
I think I'm going to have to release. So we just recorded 2 episodes, and I think I'm going to release both of them this week, just separately. Like, I'll maybe release the other one on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I'll release this one on Saturday when we're at Run Fair.
More content is better.
Yeah. Just means we're going to have to record more.
Right. Yeah, I'm not mad about it. When I'm on a roll, I can actually say words.
Yeah. So, that's... okay, so... Let me think. So, Wolfbrother Druid. Why Wolfbrother? Why did you guys call him that?
It was just... Oh, man. I was the no-style kid who didn't care what he wore, and 90% of my t-shirts had, like, wolves and Native Americans and stuff on them because my dad lived in Arizona. It was just kind of part of my identity at the time.
I got it.
I had this backstory that I was, like, I went by Mowgli. My parents called me Mowgli when I was younger, so, like, that whole Rudyard Kipling, be bros with the animals thing was really a big deal. And wolves at that time in my life were just a much bigger deal than anything else. This is really as far as that goes.
It's so... Okay, so, like, I don't know if you've noticed this about yourself, but for me... As things come around, and we're getting up in years now, no spring chicken, as some might say.
Like a winter ostrich or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like as much as you evolve in a lifetime, and you and I have both evolved more than more than most humans I know.
Yeah, we did a lot of work.
There has been a lot of work. But it's like, at the same time, that picture you drew of me is still exactly who I am. Mondo Gecko, me, 6-year-old me.
Oh, yeah.
And also, now that the 90s are coming back around, it's very easy for me to look like 6-year-old me again.
Yeah.
So, like,
That's true.
So I was like at jiu-jitsu camp this weekend with a bunch of girls like dressed in 90s stuff, like tie-dye t-shirts, backwards hats. Like it's all the same. For me, I look exactly the same.
Yeah.
I am, and it's just like the farther I go away from myself, the more I come back. You know what I mean?
I think that was one of the things that attracted me most to you as a person is that, like, no matter what you're doing, you never betrayed, like, the underlying things that you've always loved. There's been times where I tried to be more of an adult, but I'm like, I'm just a giant kid. I like what I like. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to be more emotionally intelligent, but I'm still going to, play with Ninja Turtles and collect Nerf guns and stuff.
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with emotional intelligence. But
I know. It's just,
I know what you mean.
Hyperbolically, I'm saying. But yeah, I think neither of us ever really betrayed who we are at our core. We have those allowances to be silly every day.
Isn't it, like, completely nuts, though, that you think about you already at, like, a very young age, like, saw yourself as this wolf brother, friend of the animals.
Oh, totally.
All this. You want to bring nature to the city.
Yeah.
And look at where we live right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, by the way, Trashgoblins HQ is pretty much full of plants and animals. Like, it is a little jungle... Mike just described his aesthetic, so I'll let y'all imagine.
Cluttercore.
There's pictures on the website, trashgoblinsinc.com, where of, like, HQ and the various things that make it just unique.
Yeah. Our house looks like Snow White, like, made a cottage in the Shire. And we have a big old backyard, and it's overgrown with, plants and stuff like that.
We recently decided that we don't, like, I just threw seeds of all kinds of plants all over the yard, and we're just gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
And but Mike is also erecting, like, crazy things out of sticks out there.
Yeah,
and
we have the fairy arch out there with a bunch of LED lights on it.
we have a bunch of fairy gardens.
Yep.
And we have a rotation of visiting dogs, which is adorable. Now we have possums.
I was gonna say, not
like the kind that just came and we didn't expect them. Like,
no, this was
Mike went
sort of planned.
out.
I was so my whole life I've been a wildlife dude. I've always wanted to work with wildlife rescue somehow. So recently I became a licensed rescue wildlife caretaker. So there are 2 opossums living here now. Until I can find a home better than them for this, they're staying here. I'm taking care of them. And they are named Cooter and Asmodeus because opossums are part demon and part hillbilly. And I think those are the perfect names for them. But yeah, like, what better mascots for the Trash Goblins than actual little trash kittens, right? Like, even their enclosure was made out of essentially garbage I had in the back.
Oh my god, it's so cute. He's got a fucking dollhouse in there.
I gave them, it looks like a little Barbie dream house, but it's a Fisher-Price house. They got all the sticks. I was, like, born to take care of these little critters, man. Every day I'm in there shoving different fun little toys in there.
We need to post pictures of that.
I'm trying not to, like, monetize them or push them or anything, because they're still technically, even though they're rescues and they can't be released, they're still wild animals. So I don't want to, like, I don't want to, like, encourage people to make wild animals pets or anything like that. But they're really wonderful. They're really sweet, and I'm going to give them the best life that I can. And we will absolutely be showing more pictures and videos of them sometime soon.
We have, like, real mascots.
Yeah.
I mean, we also have another mascot that we have not revealed yet.
Yeah. We're mascot heavy, if nothing.
Yeah. But, okay, so getting back to, it's amazing to me that, like, again, we go through all kinds of phases in our lives, but there's clearly some, spark or whatever you want to call it, something that is just you that, like, you carry with you. But I think to see that become what it has become for you, and then for me, you know what I mean? Like, to be like, oh no, what's the craziest thing you could have concocted as your, like, childhood self?
Oh, yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
We're living it.
Yep.
Cool. What?
Yeah. Like, we have this discussion fairly often, like, what is success?
Yeah,
what do you count as success? Because, like, if you look at me from a societal standpoint, like, you know, I'm here, I'm living, I'm you know, paying my taxes and doing all that stuff. But in terms of being fulfilled by all the weird crap that I've always wanted to do, I've been so fortunate to be able to do that stuff. And then moving to this house, to Trashgoblins HQ, has been the best thing, the best move in my life ever. Because I have all the workshop space. I have all the, you know, I don't have a landlord breathing down my neck or anything that yells at me when I want to change something. So this is like the culmination of everything I always wanted to do. And I never thought it would actually happen. So it's perfect.
And it's filled with animals.
It's filled with
and
animals.
plants.
Yeah, which is also...
We have window planter boxes. I've always wanted that. Like, you see that in movies, you know? Like, the next thing, you know what I'm going to do, like, in the fall? Bake a pie and let it sit in the window.
Hell yeah. Pie on the windowsill.
Wait for Tom and Jerry to come.
Yeah. The local neighborhood Bindle hobos show up. Man, I would put out pie for Bindle hobos.
So good.
That's really good. We actually have to do that.
I was not joking.
No, yeah. Just like we have to make your cart for the front yard and sell the little
I know.
the jerky and all that. There's a lot of stuff to talk about that Trash Goblins has going on. So bear with us. It'll all make sense at some point, or it won't, which would be way funnier, honestly.
Come find us someplace, and then you'll understand.
Yeah.
But cool. Any more on your wolf brother?
No, yeah. I really didn't think about how iconic that outfit or character was to me until this podcast. So that's pretty cool. That's going to give me ideas for actually designing him for the weekend.
Yeah, so as we're recording this, we got, we're ticking down on the clock. We got a few days until Bristol Renaissance Fair. We'll probably release this that day. And we got some things we got to wrap up for that. Mike is going to go, obviously, it's his Wolfbrother Druid, and he's going to throw some updates together this week. And then I'm probably going to fix and or redo and or just do from scratch pieces of my Lagertha costume because they got lost in the moving process at some point. So, and many moving processes over the
You have the shield and you have the wig though, right?
I just had to redo the wig from scratch.
Yeah. So, but those are like big pieces.
Yes.
So everything else should fall together.
Yeah, it'll be fine. The shield is the main thing. And I guess, the hair. But, the hair. I'm collecting wigs now. It's great.
One step closer to Mombi. Collecting heads.
One day.
No.
One day I'll be Mombi.
And I'll be a wheeler.
I can't wait. All right, well, on that note, see y'all around. I almost said Space Goblins.
I'm fine with it. Space Goblins? Oh my god! Yo, straight to the sketchbook after this. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye!
Bye.